Hello. In this tutorial, the terrain created in the Create Relief Sculpture tutorial will be saved to an ArcInfo ASCII file. The model now displayed in the view window is the model used in the previous tutorial. I turned off the eyelash layer as I didn't want to use it. Then I clicked the Adjust Object button, and then I did a -90 rotation around the x-axis to get the model into the right orientation for the virtual digital probe. And then I went ahead and I used the probe. But since I'm going to save the result to an ArcInfo ASCII file, I'm going to take a little bit more preparation. The model isn't close to the origin. It could be much further away than this. And I also don't know if I might be getting negative Z values once I use the probe. So I could just take and snap to ground, which sets the lowest elevation at ground level, and leave the rest of the values where they were. Or I could take and center it around the XY axis with Z at 0. Or I could set the minimum at the lower left-hand corner of the model at the origin, and this is the better one to use. And so now that I've got this ready, I'll click the OK button, and then I'll do a clipboard, copy layers to clipboard, select another work area, and paste the layers in. Now I'm going to use the Convert Mesh to Landscape Terrain menu item. Brings up this dialog box. I want a grid spacing of 0.005 on each axis, and calculate. This is the number of vertices that I'll have and the number of triangles if I was going to go straight through to a mesh, but I'm going to convert to a landscape, so I'll click OK, and now I have my landscape. And then we've got our dimensions: 193 columns of vertices, 229 rows. There's our spacing of 0.005, the width of the model and the depth of the model, and the heights. And so now to save to an ArcInfo ASCII file, I can just do save as. I've got the I'm going to save to the same folder that the original file came from, and I'm going to leave the name as temp ASCII, and I've already previously selected that I want to save to ArcInfo ASCII grid, and this is a combo box that I can select any of the file types. And so then I just do save, and we want to use every vertex, and I'll say OK, and now the file is saved. So now I'm going to go down to another work area, and I'm going to do File, Open DEM as ArcInfo ASCII grid. We're in the Relief to CNC folder where we just saved the model. I select temp, click Open, and our model is saved in meters. And so all I have to do is click OK, and whoop, it's flat. There's nothing there. If I look at the heights, it's 0, 0, and nothing on. And if I actually went and I converted that over to mesh, all I get is a flat plane showing the default texture on it. Now, why did this happen? Well, it turns out that when you can't save floating point numbers to an ArcInfo ASCII file for the heights. The heights are saved as integers, so all the floating point numbers are converted to integers. And so since we've got a height, both heights are less than 1 unit. 0 was saved as the heights to the file, and if we look here, if we go to the Adjust Object, we can see the height is 0, and that's why we didn't get anything. So now let's go back here. So now what you have to know when you're doing the conversion, you have to know what's the least the smallest value that's legitimate for the model that you're converting. And if it's less than one whole unit, then you're going to have to decide which decimal place it is and scale the model up. So I'm going to go over to the change page, and I'm going to do a scaling up by 10. And so that would change the spacing to 0.05 on each axis, update that result. And since I changed the spacing, our model now flattened out because we've still got the same heights. So I'm going to enter 10 here and hit the scale button so it scales up for 10 and the model looks the same. And so now I'll go back to Save As. We'll save to, we'll call this file temp1 and save it to the same location. And we'll do save, and we come back to the same dialog box we saw before. Now, I'm just going to go back, and I've told Windows that the ArcInfo ASCII file can be opened with WordPad because it's just an ASCII file. So I'm just going to do open, and here's the model. We get our number of columns, the number of rows, where the center of the model is, the cell size, no data value, and then we get to see all the heights. Now, you're seeing an awful big number here. Well, years ago when I put support in for an ArcInfo ASCII file, this is a default value that was in one of my files that I got as an example file, and I never finished working off what was supposed to be to go into the file, so you're getting this big value. In WordPad you could change that to whatever you wanted. Now I'll close that down. Now it just so happens there's an override, and if I make UTM-X and UTM-Y none zero values, those numbers will be written to the new file. So now I'm ready to write the file, and I'll go ahead and say OK, and the file is written. And if I come back here, and if I do an open on the temp1 file, you can see the centers, the two centers now, values changed to 1 as I had entered there. So now I'm going to go to another work area and do File, Open DEM as ArcInfo ASCII, select the temp1, bring it in, and same as we saw before, cell size changing, and OK. And now we're starting to see the model, but it doesn't look like much what we had before. And you can see the newer dimensions there. And so if I convert that to 3D, there is our mesh. Yeah, you can see sort of a resemblance to what our original model was. Now I'll go back here, and we'll go back to change, and now we'll scale up by 10 again. Change the spacing, scale this up, do another save as, and this time we'll save as 2. Okay, go to another work area, do an open. Still going back to the other one. We'll go back, File, Open DEM as ArcInfo ASCII, select 2, OK, OK. Now our model is looking better, but if we come in, we can still see that now we can see how it's still stepped. Convert it over to a mesh, and there we are, and you can see that it's still stepped. So let's go back again, do a change, and we'll scale up again by 10. So that gets us to 5, and scale that up again. Go back to save as, and this time we'll save 3. Save, OK. New work area, File, Open DEM as ArcInfo, select 3, OK. There's our model, and we're getting much much smoother. Go over, okay, and now we're looking pretty good. It looks pretty close to what it should be, but we can still see that we're a little bit rough. So we'll go back again and back to the change page. Make this 50 and 50 and scale up again, and one save as, and this time we'll call it 4. Save, okay. Bring 4 in. And now we're looking good, and this is and now we've got what we wanted to be. So the 4th decimal place was the smallest value that the original model was made to. And now if you know what results what should be, we'll go clipboard, paste layers from the clipboard, and I could go to adjust object, and now I know we had to scale up 10,000 times to correct our number, and if I scale, okay, there's my new measurement, and then I could just go and convert it to a mesh, and I need 50 here, calculate, okay, and we've still got the same number of vertices as we started off with. Okay, there's our model, and I'll do a save as, and I'm going to overwrite that flat plane that we had in the beginning. And I'll do save. It knows it warns us we're overwriting. Yes. Okay, finish the conversion. Pick a new work area. Do File. Open DEM as ArcInfo. Select the temp. Okay. Okay. There's our model, and convert over to 3D, and there's our model. So that's what you have to watch out for when you're working on a model that you're using the virtual digital probe on, and you want to convert it to a terrain and then save it to as an ArcInfo ASCII file. Most of the all the older file formats for DEM models, digital elevation map models, all used integers for their heights. So when you're doing other things that you might want to convert something over and use it as a terrain in a model scene that you're doing, you'll have to watch the scaling to get the result that you want. So that concludes this tutorial. Goodbye.